Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back on Murad Says. This is your host, Murad Shahabi, and today is Saturday, the 11th of March 2017. Thank you very much again for joining me today. I appreciate it a lot. Also, thank you very much for all the ideas and the comments you sent me, or also the just suggestions or criticism that you sent me over the last 10 days or 1 week. It has been very useful, and I do believe that it will make this show better. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will try to make this show more regular so it's easier for you and for me also to just follow up on it. Last week I couldn't do that. I was in Manchester trying to watch Manchester United play live, which I managed finally. So for the first time in my life I just flew to Manchester, managed to get a ticket, then just watched the legend Zlatan Ibrahimovic play football live. If you don't know who Ibrahimovic is, welcome to planet Earth. Okay, anyhow, the city actually is also nice. Many people have been telling me Manchester is grey, industrial, rainy and ugly, which is partially true, but still it has this like charm or very nice atmosphere where you really just feel nice being there and you feel comfortable and always excited about what's there. The cafes, the restaurants, the museum has a very good I like the German word Stimmung. the Laune is very nice, so give it a try if you have a chance. Cities in general actually are just like women, I think. Everyone has a certain charm into it. It doesn't also necessarily have to look pretty for you to enjoy this charm, but every city has just something into it. If you find that thing, you will have a lot of fun with it. If not, then maybe it's not for you. Okay, anyhow, you don't care about any of that probably, so today's show is, as usual, 3 segments. The first segment is the news, then we have the main segment where I discuss an intriguing idea that I hope you find interesting. Then in the last third segment, I recommend you a book that I read last week, which I also think to be very nice. Okay, the news. What happened last week, or since we last met? I actually opened just a list of the news, what happened last week, because I don't follow the news, as I said last time. So I just opened and I said, let's see what happened, because I'm not really following. So here's a list of the highlights. Adir is married. No one cares. Then there's something I don't understand or know. Then there is something about us now as humanity having more than 20,000 films with the rating F, which just says that there are a lot of bad quality movies. I actually enjoy watching bad movies. When it is so bad that it's funny, I like to watch them. I enjoy that. But that usually needs someone to watch with you, and not a lot of people are willing to just spend 2 hours of their life watching shit movies or TV shows just to have fun. I like that. If you find someone, please ping me up. I would like to waste 2 hours occasionally doing nothing but laughing at very low standards and qualifications. Okay, the UK CO2 emissions are at the lowest level since the 19th century. That's good news. That's good. Finally, something good. I think I either saw a figure or I read recently that the ozone, what's it called, the ozone hole or loch or something like this, the ozone thingy that we fucked up for like 50 years now, is finally getting smaller, which is fantastic. Considering that we are not really doing a lot of good things to the planet we are living on. I also cannot really say a lot because I'm not very responsible. I don't eat PU, for example, PU food. PU is in German. Sorry. But in anyhow, I have good intentions, but I don't think they count for much if I don't really apply them into my daily life, which I think I'm not really applying them. I used to say that quote from The Simpsons. What was Mr. Burns used to say, nature started the fight for survival, and now that it's losing, she wants to quit, or something like this. But not anymore. Now that I got older and more responsible, I think more about the environment and that. Just thinking doesn't mean anything. Okay, next, what do we have? We have Trump also doing something stupid and funny. That's alright. That's usual. The thing about Trump, I don't follow him on Twitter, but I have him on a list, so he appears on one of the lists that I have. And just I could think, this guy is always talking about someone else. So he's talking about Obama a lot, about Clinton, after he won and became practically the most important person in the most powerful country on earth for the last decades. And he's still talking about someone he already won against, or someone who is not in charge anymore. And that's interesting because I think also there are type of humanity, of just people that you meet that thrive in certain contests. They don't do well in every position. Most of us don't do well in every position, but some people just need to antagonize someone all the time for them to thrive, to find the drive to do better, or to also show how successful they are, or how successful they want people to think they are. They always have to find someone to antagonize. And it seems just from his Twitter feeds and what he tweets or what he does and says is that he always finds someone to talk about. Very interesting. He needs someone around him to tell him, man, you are now the president of the United States. Now you are just focused on being like fill your shoes, as they say. Okay, well, next. Okay, nothing interesting. Something about sheep horns. Who cares about that? Netherlands, Iceland. Iceland will be the first country to make firms prove equal pay. Equal pay is very interesting. It's also very controversial because I hear a lot of people complaining about equal pay. On the other hand, I hear a lot of people complaining about equal pay, because the thing is, if women and men are not making the same amount of money per month or per year, that does not mean that they are not making the same amount of money per hour. So equal pay means if I work 10 hours a day and you work 10 hours a day, and I make, let's say, 100 euros, and you as a woman make 90 euros for the same type of job, or the same type of job in the same place, exactly the same job, that's not fair, of course. But if I'm working 10 hours and you choose to work, for example, 8 hours, then it makes sense that I make 100 euros and you make 80. And then your argument to say, you as a man is making more money, it sounds disingenuous because you didn't count or take into consideration that I work longer hours, or maybe if I am working in a job that's, let's say I am like a pilot, and I am a pilot woman, and I'm getting less paid than someone who is, for example, a male teacher, then you have a point that it's not equal, because it's theoretically being a pilot is a higher income than being a teacher. Anyhow, this whole equal pay fiasco, you can just read about somewhere. Also, Joe Rogan speaks a lot about that topic in his podcast. So I don't really know what to think about it. The most important thing for me, I think, always is fairness. And fairness is that if I'm working 1 hour and the woman is working 1 hour, we should both get paid the same. If I work 2 hours and she works 1 hour, or the other way around, she works 2 hours and I work 1 hour, then she gets paid double for whatever reason. And that should be as simple as that. But anyhow, people are not simple. Speaking of this, equal pay and whatnot, last week was International Women's Day. And one thing that attracted my attention is again what Trump tweeted. He tweeted about having tremendous respect for women, which I found funny, because I don't know if he's tweeting because he is the president and he had to tweet about what happened. So he said, I have respect, and he actually doesn't have respect. Or does he actually have respect for women, but he thinks it's okay to have respect for them, but then treat them the way he treats them? That's interesting. That's a question for you to think about. But I think also at the end it doesn't matter. What is also funny is that sometimes in international, not sometimes, it only happened this year, that someone came to me and say, today is International Women's Day. I say, yeah, sure. And they say, what do you think? And that reminds me a lot when any Muslim or an Arab guy just goes on and just explode a bomb somewhere, bomb some museum or some rock party or whatever, one of these things that happened in Belgium or in Paris. Some friends text me or ask me, okay, what do you think? What do you think? I think so. It's the same. Someone comes to me and says, it's International Women's Day. What do you think? And I say, what do you think? I think. I'm not even gonna answer that. Is what do you think? Anyhow, so these were the news. Nothing interesting, as you can see. Nothing worth following. Nothing that will change your life if you didn't know or knew. So let's go to the second segment. The second segment will be about a very interesting concept that I stole from marketing. I used to work a few years ago as a freelancer web developer, and I had a boss who works in marketing, and he told me about conversion rate. Okay, rate, not late. We will be discussing that after the break. See you. Okay, welcome back to the second segment where we will discuss conversion rate. As I said, a concept from marketing. It's also in other fields, but mostly used in marketing. And to define it, I will give you the example that was given to me when I was introduced to the concept. So imagine that you have a website where you are selling washing machines. You wake up in the morning, you check how many visitors did you have in the last 4 weeks. You found that you have, let's say, 1,000 visitors. Then you checked how many out of these 1,000 did actually buy your product, the washing machines, and you found that you have 100 buyers. That means that your conversion rate is 100 divided by 1,000, which is 10%. So conversion rate is the number of successful events divided by the total possibilities or exposure or the chances you had. Now, why I think this concept is interesting or important is because it's cross into real life, into our daily life, in everything that we try to do or we try to achieve. At least in my life, I try to use it. Specifically, not to use a lot of the words like success, failure, or rejection. I just try to think of everything I try to achieve often as conversion rate. Because if I use success a lot, I might be carried away with my performance. I lose track on the real perception of how I'm doing in something. Or if I am using the words failure or rejection or negativity, I might also be disheartened or just not like motivated to keep going, keep improving. So it's really nice, I think, to always just look at things as numbers and then evaluate my performance based on what these numbers say. So that leads us to the point is what's in our life that also apply to conversion rate. I believe that most of the things you are trying to do during your day now has a conversion rate, and you have a conversion rate in all of them. So if you are working, for example, you have a conversion rate at work. If you are a surgeon in the emergency room and you're saving lives and you're so cool, and you have 100 patients coming in and you save, let's say, 80 of them, then your conversion rate is 80%. If you are studying for your exam and you are trying to put in 10 hours, which are the 10 available hours from you when you wake up till you sleep, taking out like, I don't know, eating, praying, sleeping, whatever. Then if you manage to study 7 hours out of the 10 hours, you have 70% conversion rate. If you are applying for a job and you send out like 10 emails and you get 5 interviews, that means you have 50% conversion rate. So really everything that you are doing has a conversion rate. And that also takes me to the next point. If you are planning to improve the end product or the results that you are getting from anything that you are trying, there are two things to consider. First, do not consider how many misses do you have or how many negative, I don't want to say negatives, but how many times things are not going your way, because your conversion rate by definition includes some of these events. So if you are, for example, applying for a job, I wanted to do a job on an internship, on cognitive control when I was in the master. So what I did, I opened the top 100 university in the world. I saw who out of them has a research group working on cognitive control, and I sent all of them. There were exactly 53 research groups working on cognitive control. Now, out of these 53, I only got about 15 reply to my request at all, like any type of just reaction to what I said. And out of these 15, 8 said no, 7 said yes, and out of the 7, 3 were good option that I can go to, and I ended up going to a lab in Belgium, which I was very grateful, and until now I think it was a very nice experience. So the point is, out of the 53 emails I sent, I only got feedback from 15, which is less than 30%. And out of this 30%, half of them said no. That means that my conversion rate for getting a yes or an invitation for an internship was 7 divided by 53. Really, if you look based on like rejection, failure, and success, that's not a lot. But it was enough, and I ended up actually going to a good place. But it doesn't mean that I didn't make a mental note that, look, if you are looking for a job in the future, man, you cannot accept to have about 30% conversion rate just on the first contact. So what can I do? That's the second point. If I want to improve the results, I have one of two options. Either increase the number of my sample size, increase, by other words, the number of trials that I am doing. So back to the washing machine website, you can either increase the 1,000 visitors who come to your website by doing more marketing, making your website better, letting other people know about it. So the target that instead of 1,000 people visiting your website, you have like 10,000 or 100,000. And considering that you have 10% conversion rate, you will have more people than the 100 who are actually buying the washing machines. You will have then 1,000 or 10,000. On the other hand, you can actually improve your conversion rate itself by improving the quality of your offering. So maybe I should have improved the email that I wrote, or I could have improved my CV, or I could have worked better on my communication skills. So instead of only 15 people replying from the 53, maybe 30 or 40 people would reply. Maybe only not only 100 people out of the 1,000 people will buy washing machines from your website. If you work on the quality of the washing machines, on the warranty that you're providing, or the maintenance that you are promising, then you will have 500 people buying. So the result will end that you will have more income, not by increasing the number of visitors, but by directly increasing your conversion rate. And that applies to everything that you are trying to do. If you are a footballer, if you are a striker, and you have a conversion rate of 40%, that means if I give you 10 chances, you score 4 goals. Okay, we need more goals. we have one of two options. Either I give you 20 chances instead of 10, and in that case you scored 8, or you go and work on your skills, you practice better your headings or your left foot or whatever, and then you will have a 70% conversion rate, so you score 7 goals out of the 10 chances. Similarly, if you are asking someone out and they say no, by definition, if you go out and you ask someone, you ask, let's say, 100 women or a man or whatever that you are trying to get, by just everyone has a conversion rate and no one has 0 and no one has 100, so someone at some point will say yes, right? But if you want to improve or increase the number of women who will say yes, you have one of two options. You either keep asking infinitely, instead of asking 100, ask 200 till like 5, 6 say yes, or go work on your personality, communication skills, your looks, your money, whatever that they are looking for. And then when you are asking, instead of only 5 women out of every 100 saying yes to you, or instead of like 10 men saying yes to you out of every 50 men you ask, maybe you will have a higher chance, like then 7 women out of every 10 will say yes. I don't really care if you are dating someone or not, or you are getting what you're looking for, but it's a good example because I see a lot of us, including me, that sometimes when we have a negative feedback or not getting where we want, we start immediately thinking how much we missed on, or how much we screwed, or how much we are not getting where we want. But eventually, maybe it's better to just look at things as number. How much am I converting from the chances, and how much can I improve it? Keeping in mind that you are not 0%, you will never be 0% in anything that you are trying, and you are not 100%, and no one in life is 100%. I never met anyone who who has like 100% conversion rate in anything that they are trying to do. It's just not possible. So to sum it up, relax, work on your number of trials, work on the quality that you are trying to use, and for sure it's just a matter of mathematics and statistics, and you will have a better conversion rate and better results. I hope that was helpful. Very, very tiny break, then we will come back for the third segment. Welcome back again. I hope you enjoyed the music. While you're listening to the music, I made myself an espresso. I'm trying to stay up to watch the UFC fight night for Fortzella, something like this. I don't know. I don't care. I hope the fights are nice. The last 2 or 3 events were awful, just boring fights, all decisions, nothing makes sense, and I would just always fall asleep. So I'm looking forward to this one. Looks good. I have espresso. I have something to do online till then. Also prepare this podcast. So let's see. In this segment, I'm recommending you a book that I read last week. I was trying to finish the book in Manchester because it became my new favorite book. Manchester have my favorite team, so I was trying like to sync things together to make it also my favorite city. Trying to force some romanticism, but it didn't work out. Anyhow, the book is called Stuff Matters. It is written by Mark Midunovic. I think that's the name. I think I butchered the name. Mark Midunovic. Yeah, he's a professor of material science in Cambridge, and he wrote a book about different materials. Every chapter is about one type of materials, for example, cement, papers, chocolate, steel, and every chapter is written in a different way of presentation also. So some of them is more like story, some of them is even like a scenario of a theater play or something like this with different scenes and sketches, and some of them is about his personal story. It differs. If you're interested in something like why chocolate melts when you put it on your tongue, or what's the composition of chocolate, or what's the history of chocolate, why the sky is blue, um, or something called self-healing cement, which is, it seems like a new thing in engineering and building huge houses that can last for like decades or hundreds of years. If you find all of these things interesting, then just give it a try. It's really nice. I recommend it. I will leave the link in the description below. If you're watching on YouTube, that's right under the video. If you're watching on Facebook, you can just click on the video and it will take you to YouTube, and there you can find all the links. Also, if you're listening on YouTube, please give us a like, share, subscribe, and comment. Share this with your friends if you think that suits them. And I would really appreciate it if you send me any comments, ideas, suggestions, or criticism. How can I make this better? I appreciate that a lot. It helps me improve the quality, and also what you find interesting, or something you like or don't like. I see you next week, and till then, stay cool.